Hello friends, it's me, Cynthia.
And Azalea and Marty.
Marty.
Hello.
This is our magic hour with Greengirlstudios. Today we have a little bit of a live sale, and I'm going to show you guys how to make fast pendants with our beads and some finishes. So that should be kind of a fun little project. I'm going to use some wire, some metal beads like metal seed beads, and what else are we going to put in there, Azalea? I think we can do, I usually like to use this. Oh, hello, Robin.
Hello.
Hello, friends. Did everyone have a good holiday? We're still recovering. I know.
Recovering.
It's from all that eating. This time I was like, I'm not going to do what I always do, but I did what I always did. And I ate a lot of food, and it was a good time. So, hello, Nilda.
Hello.
We had kind of a Friendsgiving. It was family, like our little family, and we had some of our friends that are local in town that didn't want to travel for Thanksgiving because after last year, I don't know if you remember this, Azalea, but I vow never again to travel during the holidays. There's no way. We sat on what was it, I-95?
And
it was like
you.
like 6 hours from Jacksonville to Orlando, and if you've ever done that run, you know it's usually about 3 hours. It was like a parking lot, and so that is never happening again. Never again. Never again. Hello, Jeanette. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to complain about traffic the whole time, but it was not. Since last year, it basically gave me PTSD. And my family they were like, so are you coming to see us? When are you going to be here? And I was like, so when are you guys going to be here? And we did that back and forth. And my parents just laughed. They laughed and laughed because they knew better. They knew that traveling on the holidays is pretty much a nightmare. And even though it can be fun to be with your family, I was like, listen, it's either going to be in a bracket before or after, but not on. And they were like, okay, fine. So that's what we're going to do. After all the shows, then we'll head down to Florida and visit with my folks. You know, it'll be nice. Maybe go to Ohio for a minute and go see some of our Ohio family. But it'll definitely be either before Christmas, after. None of this during. All right. Hello, my friends. I feel like last week was like we had our Marshall Handmade show, and that was awesome. We met a lot of cool people that are local artists, and we sold a ton of paper dolls and rings and all kinds of things, and it was really good. But we made a lot of connections. We met a lot of people. It was fun.
I'll make you some tea.
Oh, thank you, daughter. Thank you. So I am going to get to it. I still need to see my tank that is, boy, does it need some work. It's so black. Looking at it here, it doesn't even look like there's anything in it. It was a beta, but now it's not looking good. Oh, hello, Kalite. Marianne. Hello, hello, hello. I am going to flip this camera around and start showing you guys some stuff. We've got this new clamp. I'm going to get it in position. It's pretty good. See this? I got it on Amazon, I think. Although it's not as what you call it, movable as my other one. I have one that was kind of like a twisty arm, and that was good. But boy, it was all the time doing this and that. Not great. So next week, I don't know if any of y'all are local, but we will be going to downtown Asheville, which is like 8 minutes from our house, and we're going to do the Big Crafty. That is my favorite show of the year. So many friends that do that show. All right, move all this stuff. Get in position. Marianne. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. can see all of the stuff I've been working on. I've been making, look, I made another one of these necklaces. Isn't that pretty?
I like how you put that peridot in there. I'm looking.
Yeah, that came out good. I just have to attach the clasp. I made a bunch of these for the Big Crafty, which is coming up next week. I'm making a bunch of things for that. I was making pins during, I was like, I'm just going to hang out and eat all day. I did eat all day, but then we did get into the resin, and that was a lot of fun. And we made a bunch of resin pins. And you know what else we made? I'm going to show you. This is so cute. Azalea, give me a stuffed animal so I can show what you did with, so I can show this. Show me like a piece of fake fur. A big piece of fake fur.
Just take my son here.
Okay, we'll show this. Look at this. Azalea made this little thing she was working on. Isn't that so cute? So she made that, but I'm going to show you on the other side. I made these, I carved these little eye pieces, and we're going to, when they're cast in resin, I'm going to put a button shank on the back so that it can be added to the front. We can do these in different kinds of colors of resin, or it can be painted. So this part I'll do in a UV clear and then do different colors. So then it's kind of like a button. It's like a button eyes. Oh yeah, Kalite, we would have so much fun. I always think, hey, whenever I'm at the show, I meet so many people, and a lot of times we have get-togethers with a lot of the ladies. Okay, I'm trying to balance that so it stays. I'm going to slide down. And look, I made this little mouth, and it can be either like this or like this. It'll be a button too, cast in resin. So, and then if it's close, it's like Creature of the Black Lagoon. Like this. Can you imagine? If it's like this. Anyway, I think it'll be cuter. Let me see. Maybe on its belly, it'll give me a little bit more space to show. It could be kind of like this or like this. Anyway, I want to make more of these faces because they're kind of fun, You can do different eyes. Azalea sold all of her plushes last time. Look at this one. She crocheted that. She's been getting on Crochet Fire. Isn't that cute? That's her own, like, she made that from her own imagination.
Showing my new son.
Isn't that darling? And it's so soft. This is that velvet chenille yarn that you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Joann's. It's very plush. And they had a sale. I don't usually go anywhere and do any of that Black Friday stuff unless there's something I need, because it's like, it's too tempting, you just end up buying a bunch of stuff. But I got this yarn at where did I get this yarn? Was it Joann?
Yeah, we're right.
It was Joann. I'm gonna make a cowl, and I'm just doing strips back and forth, and this is Juicy Couture velvet yarn, and this is a half double crochet stitch. So you just go back and forth in rows and then join it when it gets to the size you want. I did originally go this way, but it was like there was no give to it, so I decided to go this way, and after I ripped out my stitches before. But anyway, this makes a really soft plush fabric when it's done. Oh yeah, it is like Mr. Potato Head parts. That's exactly what it's like. Hey honey, can you get me those cutters for the wire? So I like to use, is there the orange ones? You know what, I have Lindstrom's. These are fancy, expensive. They were like $75 for this pair, if you can believe it. But they're not my favorite. My favorite are, I don't even have my favorite ones over here. This is my favorite wire. It's from Softlex. They also make tools, I believe. Kind of like cutters and things. And I have a set. They're nice. Very nice. Oh, what is this? Xuron. Xuron makes some good tools. So what I like to do to prepare for a show or make a pendant. So when I used to do a lot of bead shows back in the day, you guys remember when there used to be a lot of bead shows? Like forever ago. Actually not, I mean it was maybe what, like 5 years? Seemed like there's bead shows all the time and then until there weren't any. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one of the techniques I like to do to make a quick, like pendant type thing. The very first, I'm going to dig around, what do I have here that would look good? Well, you know, the funny thing is I was like, oh, I'll have tons of beads. Of course, I picked the beads that have really kind of small holes. You guys know I hate them tiny holes. Oh, this has a big hole, I think. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a tutorial on how to do mold making, but I don't know if there's enough people that would have enough interest in that. You know, is there that much interest in mold making? Because I could show you guys how to do that. It's very simple. I show a little bit of that. If you guys remember, I had a book a while ago called Enchanted Adornments, and there's a very fast tutorial on making easy molds. And in that one, I'm actually using caulk, silicone caulk. Now, I don't use silicone caulk now because that I have regular silicone and I don't have to, use caulk. It is cheaper. Ah, hello, Stimule. Hello, Debbie. Donna, hello. Right, I'm going to make, let me see, how about this one? This would be a pretty one. All right. So before a show, say I was getting ready for like bead and button or whatever, if I showed the new beads and just had them on the table, people would just walk right by. They would not be interested at all. And because I think people need a sample. It's always the way it is. People need a sample. They can't visualize. So I'm going to take about 4 inches or so of, this is, what is this? 22 gauge. Gold silver plated. It's pretty. I thought it was brass. I don't know what this is, if it's copper on the inside or what, but maybe it's copper. I don't know. Let me look at the inside. I guess it doesn't really matter. It comes in all different colors. I tend to like the more neutral colors, although if they made a rainbow one, I'd probably be into it. I would for sure be into it. So, hey, do you have those rosary pliers? You know what? We snatch the rosary pliers, just like there's a gold pair of scissors. And what we need is to have like 6 pair of them because they go all over the house. And
they're not the best.
They're not the ones, I know. They're like the fancy ones, and they're not even my favorite ones. Sometimes it's worth it to get fancy. I will say that I get the nicest tools that I can afford usually. But I'm pretty hard on tools, so, and I lose them. I tend to lose them. I'm making a half round there, just a kind of a loop, not even a finished loop. And my loops are not perfect. You know, I saw this machine. I was watching, I don't know if you guys caught this. I was watching Art Beads the other day. They had this tool that made these loops, and all you had to do was feed the wire through, and that thing made the loop for you. I kind of want to try it. I don't know anybody that's tried that yet, except for the gal that was showing it. I can't remember her name. But it was it looked neat. I mean, you could make earrings so fast. I was like, holy smoke, you'd be cooking for sure. And if you do craft shows, that would probably be good. But you know what? I don't know if I just trust that to be secure. I kind of like things to have more security than just, if it were just that. I don't know. It just seems like that would come undone. For a pendant, I would not trust it. But for earrings, that seems like it'd be very good. All right. Oh, and I was going to show you guys, I love these pro polishing pads. They're my favorite. I get them from Rio. If you don't have a Rio account, because you have to buy them like 500 at a time, you can get them from Bead Shop, and they have them in like packs of 10, I think, 10 or 20 or something, if you ever need them. And they last a good while, and you can polish pretty much anything with them. So I just made what I call a sloppy loop. It's textural. If you want it to be perfect, obviously you could get, you know, you could just do it where you're lining everything up neatly instead of how I did that. But I kind of like it. And sometimes, you know what else I'll do? I'll sneak in. This is kind of fun. I organize my little silver pieces in a container like this. And sometimes I'll get one of these as texture. And let's see. This small one looks good. You know, it's getting harder and harder to find some of this silver. I talked to my friend Jerry. You guys might know Jerry from Singaraja. And he's like, it's not the tribes that are making this stuff. People, like the young people, are going to the city. And they're not, that one's a little big. They're not sticking around to make this stuff. Part of me kind of doesn't blame them, because it seems like, you know, it seems hard to make all that for not that much money. But, come on, get in there, you. There we go. Alright, so, and then I'll wrap again. You can't even see that hardly. But it adds a little pop of texture. And if you have those ones with the crystals, those are even better. I love those. I don't know if I even have any more. This is purple chalcedony, it looks like. Maybe I'll get another one to pop that on that side. Maybe a different shape. So, a lot of people will match all those. I don't match it. I just use what looks good. And this rondelle seems like it wants something kind of an octagonal shape. And what we're looking for is texture. Ah, thank you. What kind of tea did you make?
It's like sleepy time tea. It's got honey in it.
Sleepy time. Perfect.
Well, you mentioned that you weren't sleeping good, so, you know.
Oh, she's... I have not been getting a lot. I have been staying up again.
I think after the 5 you could take a nap.
It's unlikely. I am not one to take a lot of naps. I don't sleep a lot. Oh, our friend June. Hello, June. All right, so these are gold-plated silver. I use those very sparingly because they're kind of pricey for what they are. You know, a strand of those. Geez, we bought some silver and I was like, man, I don't know. Is it just me? But see how good that looks when you add that? It's so good. And you only need one. Alright, here's the other thing I like to do. This is my favorite part. I'm going to show you this. Hopefully I made this long enough. I bet I didn't. You know, sometimes I get thrifty with my wire. And when you do that, that can be good. But it can also be annoying down the road, because then you don't leave yourself enough room. Alright, so I have this bag here of other silver beads. And I'm going to go with, I think those are, I think those will fit.
That bracelet?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Alright, so you can use seed beads. These are silver seed beads. And I don't know if you can see that. They call them Charlottes, but they have a teeny little bit of a facet. Robin, she says, have you shipped the stuff from GBE yet? Now, Robin Rose, we did have a lot of that stuff went out yesterday. What's today?
I've been filling stacks and stacks of orders.
Yeah, she has stacks of orders going out. Stacks and
I've
stacks.
been combining people's orders too.
And she's been combining, so that's a nice little thing. Hopefully that fits.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer when you have to go through and refund people's shipping and combine all of the orders, so you know how it is.
We're working our way through it. We have, I think, I want to say, how many are left? There's not that many left. there's not that many left at all. That one didn't fit.
I don't know. I haven't checked that number in a while. I've just been going through at the bottom of the list and working my way up. Just every time, you know.
Yeah, that's good. It just takes time, and especially with the holidays, it's a little more hectic because people are taking off time, you know. Like our pewter shipment, instead of arriving when it should have, you know, it's 4 or 5 days late, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit there and wait for it. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, good. Man, sometimes I get stressed out. We definitely do not like it to take a long time. You know, we used to have a full crew helping. That was pre-2020. We had a big crew, 4 employees. And then 2020 hit, and now we have to do it ourselves because it's hard to find help. So Greg is basically the only one casting that stuff. So if it is a wait, because we just don't have, we have another guy that comes in. His name is Will. Maybe you saw when we were playing music a month or so ago. He's a musician, and some of these, it's kind of weird. Like, how did they even get them on the strand? Like, a bunch of them fit, and then all of a sudden, a lot of them are not. So you can use regular seed beads. You don't have to use metal seed beads. It's just my personal preference. And I'll show you. It's even better if if you get some that fit. Like these are even better because they have a nice big hole. Those ones I picked, they had very small holes, and they're kind of hard to see. That's nothing to this one. Look, check out how small these are. I don't even know why I bought them. I must have been getting so wild. Look at that. Can't even see it. I don't even know where you would put that. I think probably micro cord, probably. I'm going to put some of these on there, and it'll hit right at the top. See? So it's like a purple, silver, and gold. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up a tiny bit so that that part is like this. I'm going to tilt it. I think I'll add a couple more. But big ones, because I don't like that business of trying to force feed that onto the wire. Y'all know that's not my favorite. It is actually a pet peeve of mine to have to deal with that. This is a kind of a fun shape. Yeah, I don't know, Karen. Sometimes those packages, they'll say, track it, and you track it, and it's just sitting. It used to do that where they would sit in Miami. That's our closest hub. Let's see if these fit. I'm going to pull off a couple. Yeah, that had a nice big hole.
I feel like wouldn't it be in Greensboro?
Yeah, it is sometimes in Greensboro, but for the most part, the stuff that goes to Miami will sit. If it's an international, sometimes it'll sit. Or if it's going on the West Coast, it'll just sit there for a while.
Yeah, international stuff. Yeah, whenever I order things, they usually sit in Greensboro for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that story. We have been pretty lucky for the last, I don't know, I haven't lost a package that was like truly lost in a while. Hello, Deanna. Truly lost. All right. Yeah, that looks like enough. All right. Hello, Lorraine. Yeah, if I could control it, imagine having that kind of power to be able to do that. All right, so now what I'm making is a little loop, and I'm going to go over top of that other bead. And I use my fingers. I know a lot of people don't need to do that, but I do not have the coordination to do, like, to hold it with a tool and then, I don't have that kind of coordination to do it like that. Another messy wrap on top, and then trim. Oh, and I haven't mentioned this. But I have a Sam's Beads gig to do with Rachel. I think it's on the 6th. I want to say it's on the 6th. I'll check my calendar. But we're making a necklace. She sent me a package, and I'm supposed to make a necklace and then show how to make it. I guess the last time I made a necklace in exactly an hour. I think it was, she was like, all right, let's see it. Let's go. Let's do it. And it was like 1 hour to make it. And it was pretty fun, but it was kind of hectic. I'm not going to lie. It was very hectic. It was kind of like that design challenges that we do in Tucson. So this is one. It's kind of like mixed bead at the top, and you could, let's just use one of these as an example. Like you could pretend like this is chain, and we'll look at it and see how it looks. So it's good because it's more decorative than just like wire, you know. And seed beads will add a pop of color. So if you can imagine that as chain, or, you know, maybe, I don't know, I've done seed beads, different colors, and it looks really cool if you get a nice blend that goes with your bead collection. But this is a pretty fast way that you can do it, you know. Or cord that's like silk. You could twine. You could use that sari silk. You could actually crochet something. A tight chain of beads would look good. So that came together. I don't know, what is it? Surely that didn't take me 20 minutes. I don't think that took me 20 minutes. If that took me 20 minutes, then I need to reevaluate my skills. Usually I can crank this out. These, what I'll do is I'll make a bunch of them. This works for earrings too. This is how I make my earrings. And you can imagine that with a bronze cord. But I do a mix, generally speaking. So if it turns, it's decorative all around. So that one came out pretty good. Oh, let me show you that polishing pad I was telling you about. All right, let me find one that needs it, that really needs it. Oh, this one. See, it's kind of dark. Okay, so polishing pad, this is what I was talking about. It feels like it just feels like foam, but watch what happens. It's slightly abrasive. Not very much at all. And this will work. You know, those Viva paper towels? You could use those and just slightly buff it. I've seen people use a wire brush. I think those are a tiny bit aggressive and it leaves a texture. And that's fine, but I don't really like that on more detailed pieces. But it will definitely brighten it up and remove some of the oxidation. We hit these with Black Max. It's a type of patina. And it tumbles off. All right, let's do this one. This is a little bit dark too. Let's see. And it hits the highlights, you know. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. Hey, pass me a paper towel. I want to show how that works. So that just brightens it up. This one needs it. Look at that. That will... Alright. This is the Viva paper towel. They are kind of cloth-like. The only thing is that these kind of make your hands turn black. I'm not sure. Alright. Took a little bit of that off. And this also works well if you're going to do a patina. You want to wipe off any extra. Marianne, this is, would you say how new is this one? It's pretty new. Little Mushroom Kingdom.
I would say maybe
like a year or so.
Yeah.
You know, I made this one for the purpose of painting it and then putting resin over it to dome it. And you know what? I haven't done that one time. I made this for that purpose, and then I didn't even do it. It has a little snail on the back. The hole's this way, so that it hangs like this. Yeah, pad. You know, I don't like those pro polish pad feel either. Sometimes I'll take a brand new kitchen scrubby, and that is enough to remove any of the extra patina and give you a nice feel. So another way to do that, here, I like to do this one. You can make another, where'd it go? So I make rings with this all day long for just plain rings. Let me see, this on my hands is making me a little bit feel like I'm going crazy. You know, I knew a gal that would always say, you can always tell a real artist by their hands. If their hands are nice, then you know they're not for real. And I thought, you know, that's pretty much the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Well, she might just be speaking for herself. Maybe she got crusty hands.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she's on the crustier side.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to have any kind of like judgy comments like that. Like, you're not a real artist unless you do this, that, and the other. That to me is not good. You know, because it's kind of like separating. You're only an artist if you do this, this, and this. Okay, now there's a couple other ways.
Have the potential to be artists. I feel like that's why people exist.
That's what separates us from, like, why aren't we gorillas, you know? Just standing around scratching ourselves. We're not. We have all this potential. It's for a reason. So I'm going to make another one, but this time I am not going to add the bail part. I'm going to do this, and I think, let me see, I'm going to do another mixed nuts. Look at these. Aren't those cool? These are little squares, and they're really cute. Obviously, you can use, I don't know, I had a thing of seed beads I took out for the whole reason of doing this project. Then I set it down. I don't know what I did with it. If you guys saw my house, you would understand. I don't want to use the word, like, you know, I don't hoard, because it's a more of a curated collection.
If you got space to walk and space to eat, then you're not actually a hoarder. Because I've seen Hoarder, the show.
I mean, and it's okay. If you like stuff, you like stuff. Everybody's different. We don't all have to be matching. All right, I'm going to make this nice ring here. Since I'm using all this silver, I'm going to put it on a bronze piece. I don't know if anyone else does that, but sometimes I will do that. I upgrade depending on the material. So if this were a pewter piece, I would probably not get out all my silver for that. I would probably get glass, just because you want to be able to keep your costs down, especially if you're reselling. If you're making a gift, then knock yourself out. See, then you want to make it extra. All right, so depending on how big you want your loop to be.
So charming.
Oh, that's cute. Let's have a look. Azalea. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Can't believe I just did that.
Oh, dang.
Dang, sorry, y'all. I've been so good about that for like years.
She got distracted.
And that was the one time. If there's any kids out there, I apologize. Maybe it was like Facebook.
I don't know how many kids are going to be watching you make jewelry.
Hey, listen, you never know. I mean, you watched them. I mean, you grew up watching Kate go live. If you remember that. Please don't take my video down, Facebook.
You'll be fine. People say worse and they stay up.
Alright. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to put a couple gold ones on there. What the heck? That's a bit... Nah, that looks good.
Thank you for this, Mom.
Does it fit?
Yeah, it's nice. Look at it. I like it. I like it a lot.
What?
I was expecting overalls. So when I saw sleeves, I was like...
Hey, that actually looks cute on you.
I kind of want to dye it.
Alright, I'm going to show you guys. Listen to this.
New coveralls, baby. Christmas present.
She's getting into them early. That looks cute, though.
You told me to try them on.
I did tell you to try them on because you know what? If they didn't fit, then you'd be... It's a good shape on you. Oh, and it's a zipper, too?
Yeah, zipper.
Oh, yeah. You look like you're ready to get on that spaceship. You know, like, you guys ever watch The Expanse? Love that show. Now, where'd I go? Oh, here I am. All right, so this is a little trickier. A little bit tricky. So what I like to do is have something that's round that I can use to go around it, like a dowel rod, a paintbrush handle, something. And I have this brush here. We can use this. See if it's the right shape. Could be a little bit bigger. Let me see if I've got a bigger brush. Oh, all right. Ready for action. Yeah, you know, she's in the automotive repair class where they're having to get up underneath the vehicle. They're using old police cars, old Asheville PD police cars. And she's already taken apart the engine, and now she's in the process of putting it back together. I don't know if she's gonna, you know, her whole goal was not to just become a mechanic. She wasn't going to be a mechanic, but she wanted to know and understand how to take care and fix things that may go wrong when she gets her VW bus. She's had that on her wish list since she was pretty young. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm using this brush as a guide to make a perfect little round, kind of like a jump ring, like a big jump ring, but we're going to secure it. So let's see. Do I want it to be that big? So the good thing about this is you can determine if that's too big. I'm just slide down here, maybe remove a couple. Let me cut this. I'll trim it again, but I'm not attached to the thing now. So let's see. I'll take some off of this side. You know what? I had to teach this for a Beads of Courage event. I thought I was going to go crazy because you have to do, it was like designing with the stars, and you had, I believe it's 15 minutes, and I think it was like 6 people per batch. Boy, that was some extra right there. Oh, I already tied it off, so that's not what I want to do. Before you tie it off, here it is. You want to add your ring, and then let me go back and I'll go on this smaller spot for just some support. Okay, this takes a little bit of concentration to twist it like a bread tie. And you only need to twist it like twice. Yeah, there you go. Okay, see that? That's a little bit big, but it'll be fine. And then after you get that, you got that twist tie. Really, you need to only go once, because then you can go back over on it like this. See that? And then pinch it closed. Being careful not to be too aggressive, and having a little bit of room so you can twist back. Some would say, oh, that's not necessary. But I think it's pretty necessary.
What are you making?
I'm making a loop. You know that loop thing I made for Beads of Courage? You remember that event? And
yes.
we made all those, it was a necklace. So what you were doing was adding all the beads, kind of like, it kind of reminded me of a solar system. All right, so you have that little bit of extra hanging out. And I went around twice. And it kind of hides your wire. So it's not just bald wire sitting there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I go the opposite direction, just because it seems like, I don't know, it just seems more aesthetically pleasing. All right. This wire is soft enough where I can just bend it with my fingers, but if you have stiff wire, then you might have to use pliers. Oof. Let me see, straighten that up. And then pinch it closed. You know, I've made these before where I forgot to put the pendant on. Ugh, hate it when I do that. And I almost did it right there on live. Just right there again. Because, you know, you get kind of focused on making the circle part. You forget you need to actually put it on what you're making it for.
That's satisfying, though, with those smooth square beads or rectangle cube beads.
Stimuli says it's smart to learn what you're learning. On the automotive repair, I told people that's what you're doing with that. Marianne says it looks cute to be covered with oil and grease. Maybe. Depending if it's artfully done. All right,
according to some people in my class, it's very cute, I guess.
Ooh. All right, so there's that. So from this point, I have been known to add a bunch of these rings and hang beads from it. Or I like to do this number. You've seen this. This little, we're going to pretend like this is cord. It's not cord, it's beads, but you guys get the picture. And if that were cord, it would flow better. Yeah, it would be a good chain, and I have done that, and this is a good chain. I've done that many times where you can actually hide this connection point under, if you had soft flex or something and you wanted to put a crimp and then keep going, you could make that an oval by taking round tips and opening this up. You just open it up and stretch it out and make an oval. That's one way to make, that's how you make handmade chain actually, but you would solder this connection and that's how you would do that. And then you could hammer it. But with the beads, I think it looks pretty that way. And I'll put a bunch on there. And sometimes I save, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I save little pieces of chain. It's not even that much of it. But look, I found this chain I think, where did I get this? I got this at an antique mall in South Carolina. And I've been cutting this off and adding it to necklaces and things as I need it. First, it makes it good, like, you know, if you're going to make it adjustable. But you can also just add more. You know, you can keep going with it. And it's kind of decorative. See, I've kind of balanced that little clump of wire with this golden bead, and it looks pretty good. What I would do now is I would add more to this. And then, you know, as you're, like, if you have a necklace that's like I wanted to make one that you could, like a hook, so you could add to it. Say you have really favorite beads. You could put that on there. And say you had, let's see, this thing of glass. Some of my favorite bead makers in here. Some of these are old. I think that's a Kevin O'Grady. He made that a long time ago. That's from the 90s. Isn't that pretty? Never made anything with it. It's on my things to do. And my friend Joanne made this one. I love these. I wonder if she still makes them. Oh, and I just ordered this one from Japan last year. Isn't that pretty? Names. Oh, shoot, I don't remember what her name is. I don't know that I ever knew it. I just follow her on Instagram. So, I know. That's made with, oh, here's a really old Kevin O'Grady bead. Check that one out. He signed it right there. You'll see his little teeny signature. You know, when we were set up, Azalea bonded with him. She annoyed Kevin so hard.
On purpose.
Kept saying, we need to come up with a nickname for Kevin. And all of a sudden,
I kept coming up with nicknames
his head appeared right in the curtain, being like, what nickname?
No, he didn't even say anything. He just had his face there. I was saying it to Brenda.
Oh, you were telling Brenda? That's
our friend Brenda Schweder. Nicknames for the people set up across from us because they were pretty goofy.
Yeah, they were goofy.
I was talking to Brenda, and I was like, you know what? I need to come up with a nickname for Kevin so he doesn't feel left out. And like I looked over and he was just silently standing there. I could see half of his face poking out from behind the curtain.
So
watching.
funny. I wonder how this would look. Let's see. Half of the time, you know what takes me the longest part of jewelry making is not the actual making. It's this. Is, oh, what would look good? Would this look good? And then trying things out. It'd be fun to do that with the beads. Kind of. I don't know. Kind of. I think it needs to be a smaller gauge. The one I did for that class was on leather. And we had I think it was a plain pewter ring. And we hung a bunch of, in the class, we did a bunch of these, but we did them in just, we didn't do anything on them. They were just plain metal. And you could do that. One of the things I'll do with that plain metal, here, I'll just show you right now. Let me see. So if you're going to do this plain metal, say you have some fancy fine silver wire. Say that happened. Especially if it was like fine silver, because that fine silver is easy to manipulate. I use a dowel rod. You could actually, I've done some where I made them where they were doubled or tripled for a neat effect. And that can be kind of cool. And so if you do it that way, you do it like one turn, and you get that shape, kind of like a split ring. And I'm going to put that back on there. And then I'm going to bend it tighter. So it's a little easier to navigate. I'm just going to wrap it. Wrap the whole thing. And then you could use that as a component too. If it's fine silver, it's a little easier. Sterling works. Pretty much any of those metals work pretty well. Although I have found that stainless is kind of challenging. And I used to use, if you guys can believe this, stainless was like my metal of choice back in the day. I know, weird. And I like to strip it of that black. I got it at the hardware store. And you know, it's so durable, and it, you know, you can put tin solder or silver solder on it, and it works pretty well. And I used to make a bunch of necklaces with that way back when. Tell ya. You know, we were talking earlier, it was funny, Azalea and I were talking about what happens when you get negative comments, because Greg got some negative comments on his caricatures. You know, I don't know if you guys follow Greg on social media, but he is very good at making caricature drawings. And one gal got on there and was like, that doesn't look anything like so-and-so. That's just, I didn't even know who it was, and just went on and on and on. Kind of negative, you know. Actually, not kind of. It was straight up negative. And a tiny bit insulting. Not just a tiny bit. It was straight up insulting. And I was telling him, it kind of made me remember when I was young. Now I'm pinching this. Sometimes I'll do this, and it makes a neat texture. You can go this way. I'll do it this way first to show, because it can be cool. And it can look faceted. And I'm pinching hard, see? And I'm going to go all the way. And I'm going to leave it that way. Just a little teeny space. Now, I don't know what this is called. Except I know that it's work hardening. And so anyway, it reminded me of being younger. And I found my morning pages. I don't know if you guys know what that is. But Julia Cameron wrote a book called The Artist's Way, probably sometime in the 90s. And it's a book with all these tips and techniques for finding your creative path. And one of the things is you're supposed to write every day. See, that's a double length. And it kind of looks faceted. This gauge of wire is 22 gauge. And so now you get these little, that's going that direction. I'll show you. Now, you could make a chain of these, and that's what I did in the project. I did a bunch of chains, I connected them. So if you make these, you could actually make a bunch and either solder that connection if you only want one, or leave it. I didn't solder it. I just went and wrapped it around, and it's kind of like a decorative edge. And this is exactly how I did. I set these diamonds, and the diamonds had a hole that was like, you could maybe fit a hair through it. So I had to use like 28 gauge wire, and I put it through, and that's how I put one teeny little diamond. I put them on a drop like that, and I soldered the top. So, and it was pretty labor intensive actually, but it looked pretty because I had that little texture. Let's go the other way, and I'll show you how that looks. But anyway, I found that all of my my talk at the time, the words I was writing were kind of negative, you know, and the point of the exercise is that in the morning, you're to write 3 pages, just free association, every morning. It could be anything. It can just be whatever you're thinking about, right? And a lot of it was like, oh, this artist is must be nice. They're doing really well. I wish I was doing really well. And it was really negative. And a thing I noticed, the reoccurring theme was on if that person deserved it or not. And I kept saying, oh, well, I've been working this hard, and I've been doing this. It's my turn, and all that. And it just occurred to me, I mean, with hindsight, of course, this is 20 years ago, reading this. I thought, you know, you're missing. This is me telling my younger self, looking at these words. You're in the prime of your life, and you're wasting your time talking about other people and other people's art instead of focusing on your own work and why it's not fair and why it's not great that this person's not even that good and why are they getting all the accolades and fame. And I feel like that was my insecurity at the time. You know, I didn't know if I was going to make it, and I was so fixated on making it that I was unaware of the gifts that I already had, the gifts that were already surrounding me. I'm in the prime of my health. The whole world opened to me, and I was traveling and going places, but it never seemed enough. Just reading my own words, you know, I'm like, I'm getting ready for my trip to Venice, and complaining about something else. And I thought, if only I could tell my younger self and listen, that stuff is just not important. And I'm actually like wasting my own time. And that later, I would come to understand what the real things. And, you know, it was funny, like I had been longing so much for this success. And I finally got it, where I was on TV spots, I had book deal, I was on different shows, and I was in the prime of my career. We had stuff going to Japan. Like, we were shipping off to Japan like twice a month. Things going to England. I was shipping all over the world. And we were in all these magazines. Remember when there were so many magazines? We were on top of the world. But you know, my words back then were focused on what I didn't have and what was going wrong, and not, hey, I'm in the thick of it. I was finally successful, but I still wasn't happy. And that's kind of the funny thing, is that you don't know what you don't know, and that all of that is kind of not that important. I mean, now I think of it, I'm making like easily half of what I did back then. And now that I have that kind of insight, I realize that none of that was important. None of that was worth wasting my own time for. And I was thinking, when I was looking at those comments that this gal put on there, you know, that insecurity, if you don't make it, what happens? What happens if you never get that moment of success? I think that turns into bitterness. And that bitterness can kind of bleed through into your everyday life and even to your health, I want to say. All right, so this is a plain ring. Now let's go the other direction. I'm just using flat nose pliers, I guess they're needle nose. And I'm going to go this direction. Let's straighten it out a little bit. And so I was saying, you know, this poor gal, you know, criticizing someone, just, you know, taking the time to criticize You know, now, I mean, back then I would have been all upset and outraged, but now I just sort of feel more like this person needs compassion. Like what has led them to this point where they feel like, you know, the choice that you have, hey, I can make someone's day by saying, man, that's awesome. Or to say, man, that's garbage. You have a choice. You know, you can say, hey, you can make someone's whole day, or you can ruin it with just a few strokes of your keyboard. And, you know, nowadays I don't say anything that I'll regret, or I try not to anyway. That's the lesson, isn't it? I guess that's what happens as you get older and you learn. All right, so look at that. So that's the same thing. Boy, this is a durable little piece. It's not going anywhere. And sometimes I'll make a bunch of these, and I'll put one or two kind of special beads. Like, let's see. I've made so many necklaces with this idea. You could put a pearl on there, and so when you dangle them, you can make a cluster, and so you could do different textures. So this one has that faceted look, and then this one has the other direction, and they're both very sturdy, because that flattening it like that, you could use a hammer too if you have a hammer, or textured hammers, but it keeps it's work hardening it, essentially. You're work hardening that metal. Like this one has not been work hardened. I could easily, well, not easily, I guess it's because it's a circle. It's a little harder to pinch. A little harder, see? But if you make some, you could just put them in a box or like one of your storage things and dangle. Like, you know, you could have beads and they can be free moving. And I have a little box of these in my desk upstairs. I couldn't find it. Of course, it's like every time I'm looking for it, then I go back and I'm like, oh, it was right in front of my face the whole time. But they're easy to put on necklaces and add a little bit of movement. I think of it as like sliders. They can add a little bit of texture. And in my crochet necklaces, I'll put one or two of them, usually very small. If I'm going to make them for my crochet, I make these about half that size. And they will hold a precious bead, and it's in a finer gauge. It's almost where you'll see it and you'll wonder, oh, what's that? And then you have to take a closer look because it's pretty fine work. This a little bit larger is good for this action right here, where you could then make a daisy chain out of it and keep going. That was the project we did. And then you could do a jump ring, and those don't have to be all handmade, but you just put those on and add beads. So in this case, I've made them where only this one has the beads. But if you wanted, you could put a single bead. Drops are good. This is a perfect use for briolettes. Or those weird shield kind of shape. This is glass here with like a head pin stuck in there. I think my friend made this, Maureen. I think that's her work. And I've done that where I put them. Usually I save these to do this. This is what I do with these. This is what I do with them. Check this out. This is so fun. It's so cute. Stack them up. Isn't it so adorable?
Yeah, that is so charming.
And then I'll put this on a piece of copper. I have this copper, and I don't even know how the gauge. It's like this wide. It's so thick. And I have to anneal it first with a torch until it's cherry red, and then I could hit it and I make hairpins. But you know what? I haven't made hairpins in a good long while, so you can see how last time I did that. Stimile, what was the turning point for you to allow you to move into a more positive frame of mind? I will tell you. Pain was the great teacher. And losing people, lost my grandma, lost my aunt. And you know, when you have that, it's a good reminder that life is short. And you don't have time to sit there and think about all the different ways that you've been kind of, you know, like if you've had a lot of difficulty, and I think it's easy to focus on that negative. I think it's the most easy thing to focus on. I made such a mess over here. All right, I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to show you guys what I made over the last couple of weeks. Besides necklaces, I had a bunch of these, and thank you for all of you that showed up to the show and added to your collection. That was wonderful. It's like my highlight, sharing some of the things that you make. I don't make those necklaces. I don't really have a lot of time to make them. Probably, oh, I don't know, maybe every couple of months I'll get those out. But it is definitely fun to make. So this is what we did today. I know, that took me how long? Like an hour? Holy smokes, I'm losing it. Losing my touch. But they're fun to make. And now it's kind of getting me in the mood to make earrings, looking at all these little shiny things. But as far as pendants go, like I'll make necklaces for the show, and you don't want to spend forever on it. But instead of just having like cord, which is what I usually do, I usually have like black cord and several beads at the top, and I'll make cord necklaces for folks at the show, because most people, they don't know how to make jewelry at the shows. The craft shows, not the bead shows. Bead shows, that's a different crowd. They don't want to see that at a bead show. They want to see this type of action. And this is how I would sell it. I'd have to make up a necklace. And before the show began, if I didn't have a chance, I would be making up this stuff like behind the table when it's like 9:45 and the doors open at 10. I'd be making these necklaces up to display it.
Familiar situation.
It never ends. You'd think I'd have it down by now, but there you go. It's the same thing. It never changes. I'm always pushing it to the last. All right, I am going to get this ready, and I'm going to keep all this. I'm not going to just throw that into my bead mix. It's all going into the silver because that stuff's pricey. Get that out of the way. Okay, I think the next one, do you guys want to see some UV resin again? I know that's my favorite thing, but I don't know if y'all are getting bored with seeing UV.
Well, you've given them a break tonight.
I did give a break tonight, but you know what, I was tempted. I had some more ideas for UV resin, and I was seriously tempted to go drag that stuff. I dragged it all down to the basement, so I'm in production mode, making pins like my life depends on it. It doesn't. It's actually really fun. So that's a good thing. Thankfully, we like what we make, right?
Hell yeah. Sugar and cream.
It's looking good, that hat you're making.
You want to show them?
Oh, you want to see? Okay.
This is my progress so far.
Look at this cute hat Azalea's making.
That's just the top part.
Never bored with UV. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you like those organic links. You know, I think it's kind of fun when they're not 100% perfect. I love rings too, Marianne. I could make rings all day long. And this is cute. This is a little hat Azalea's making. This is sugar and cream cotton yarn, and it looks like single crochet. Doing a pretty good job. All she needs is like the rest of, maybe I think it's this much more. It's called is it the pixie hat? Is that the pattern name? Or sprite hat or something?
Sprite hat, I think. I just need to finish the body of it, and then I can make the brim.
She is on fire with the crochet.
I can't help it. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either, because you were not into crochet as much.
I've been on and off with crochet for years.
It's good. It's fun. I know. I like that. I like that. The crochet. I have a necklace that I made a long time ago. I want to show you guys how to make it. And it's called a ruffle necklace. And I used, I think I used cotton, and a very thin cotton, and some labradorite chips. But I have to find the sample. And I wrote down the instructions. It never, I made it for Stringing Magazine. And then Stringing Magazine wasn't around anymore, so it was basically kind of that project. I was going to release it, I never got around to it. But it was a more involved project because it's more difficult. It's not as tight as the crochet I do now, which is actually kind of like macrame a little bit. Bonnie, we did have Thanksgiving. We had a Friendsgiving. We had our friends Richard and TJ, and our friend Steve came over. My good friend Star came over. And Greg made a duck the night before, and I have this recipe that I make. It's not really a recipe as much as it is like kind of like a formula to make a duck stuffing. And I use dried cherries. It sounds weird and sweet, but it's actually really good. Why am I separating that? Why am I doing this? Oh, I'm getting it out of the way. Forget what I'm doing.
Start talking about your stuffing, start thinking about food, get distracted.
Food. I am motivated by food.
We have a very cheeked up lot sale tonight. We have a bunch of stuff to show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff. Almost
I think Azalea and I, we were going to do we have some full strands, and we're going to do some discounts on some things. So we'll try to wrap this up. I've already gone an hour, if you can believe it.
And we'll be on
Bonnie, I
another hour
love
for
duck
this.
too. I'm trying not to love it, but I do love it. All right, here we go. Let's do
You
it.
can start anywhere.
Start anywhere. All right, so here's a full strand. I'm going to get this. Do I still have all that stuff on my fingers? Ugh.
There's only one of these around.
Okie dokie. So this is, let's see. I made lavender water with the distillation process of a lid in the kitchen and iced. All right. So this is lot 29.
It's going way back.
Going way back. And this is Rainbow Moonstone. Let's do a discount on this one, Azalea. Let's sell this one for $85 if there's any takers. Here, write that in there. This is from the early days. Rainbow Moonstone, faceted, beautiful. So pretty. Look at that. There's a lot of flash in this, and it's very transparent. This would be considered, this particular type is considered AAA grade. Now, the way they grade stones is by transparency and color. All right, so this was 110, now it's 85. All right, so what you're seeing is clarity. You're looking for clarity. You're looking for, Pat, the size is, these are, let's see, I've got a,
Bonnie got it.
oh, Bonnie.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Oh, thank you, Marianne. She says, time always flies when you're on. Thank you.
So nice of you.
So I was going to say that this is, that the flash is what they're looking for. So that's how they'll test it and they'll grade it. You'll have a big pile of moonstones, and they separate them into A, AAA, or AA, AAA, and then B, C, and D. D is like Fire Mountain Gem style, you know, where it's like really super cheap. And sometimes that's good. Like say you're making something where it's like you want it to be more affordable. That's perfect for that. Okay, so this is another type of moonstone. This is brown moonstone, but it has some striations. Let's see if I can get this so it shows up. I had these. We were going to sell them at 48, and now we're going to do this at 30. Where's the tag on it, daughter? Oh. Now we're doing them at 30. So this is $7.43. Check them out. It's a nice moonstone. It has some of that schiller. Whenever I'm picking them, I always pick the ones that have that. It's kind of called latticing because you get these like little chunks of flash. It's hard to show it, but this one has a lot of that. I always hand pick my stones. I just love them. So for me, that's no hardship. They're well drilled. 30. I know. It's so good. This would make good earrings right here. How many would you get on there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you get 5 pairs of earrings out of that if you were to do that, which I think would be good, you know. All right, let's move on. We've got a lot of stuff today. If you're watching on replay, so what you would do, oh, Anne, thank you. Anne picked this out. So you would you could email Greengirlstudio, and Azalea will send invoices. And if you're waiting on something and it hasn't been shipped, she always combines things to save on shipping. And sometimes it'll take a little bit to do that. So just keep that in mind. We are working pretty fast. Okay, now this one, I don't know. This is some opal. I am kind of embarrassed how much I paid for these opals. This particular, I bought a strand of these. I'm not going to tell you guys, it's embarrassing. But I'm slowly getting rid of them. Not getting rid of them, but I'm putting them in things. This is 35. Let's do this one for 25. We're going to do this one for 25. Write that one on there. That has these opals I got from the Cooper Petty mine. This one, I bought a strand of those. You guys can't see this, but that is a juicy opal. I might just keep it if no one picks it out today. But $175
for that whole lot.
Let's move them so that I can get in here.
I can pass them to you, and then it's in the order.
Oh, Marianne.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm getting rid of some of the stuff out of the way. You know, I was cleaning up my studio. My friend was coming over. And I tell you, I found a bunch of stuff that's going to make some fun projects. I went to an auction about 5 years ago, and I bought all of these sort of, they're like watch case faces. They're crystal or something. Man. Okay, so Azalea, holy smokes. We had these at 65. So this is basically our cost on that. Actually, lower than cost. This is lot 23. This is sapphire. We'd been sitting on these a while. I was going to make earrings, but I'm probably not going to get time to make that. Beautiful. That's the lowest you'll ever... That's basically wholesale. That's wholesale right there. That's our cost on it. There's 2 strands if you want them. Thank you, June.
Thank you, June.
Karen got the other one. That's a good price on that. That's like amazing. But you know what? If I'm not going to make necklaces and jewelry out of it, then guess what? It's not doing me any good. But someone else might make something nice out of it.
All right, this one's next.
Oof.
Locked in.
Okay, this is a sterling silver pendant. Let's do this one at, give me a pen. Let's do this one at 28. We'll do that at 28. Anyone want this silver? It's actually pretty heavy. Has double design, so you can switch it if it flips. Or say, you know, I've made this necklace with turquoise. I think it has a kind of a southwestern feel. And that is lot 280. It's 28. And if you're interested, you can message if you're watching on replay. Helen, I think those are gone. What's that one? Is that the, yeah, those are gone.
Those went fast.
They went fast because it was practically for free.
Thank you, Tina.
Let's put them in one side. Get another tray so I'm not...
to move it, but they get lost that way.
I don't want to, like...
They might be organized during the live and separated, but then they get lost later on. I have to go hunt it.
Okay, put it in just put it on one side.
I know which order I'm going in. Here you go.
Okay. Ladies. Lassie. Alright, so this is a clasp. I just made this. And this one has a sapphire, and I'll show you the necklace. I'm going to take it off. I'll show you how this is. Goes like this. I just did macrame on that. And I think it looks pretty good. It holds. It's a very secure. I've never had that clasp come undone. And it's silver. It's set with a sapphire. I have it marked at 40, but let's do it at 38. I'm not going to go down too far because, listen, that I'm going to end up making necklaces with for Big Crafty. But if anyone wants it,
Lot $7.49.
$7.49, $38. That's a sapphire rose cut. Okay, what's next, my darling?
These. You can show all
Oh,
three of
thank
them.
you, Tina. All right, so this is another necklace. Greg made me last month he made me a bunch of clasps for the show circuit. And this one is an octopus clasp. It's good. Sterling. I have 3 here. Let's have that at, what did I mark this one at?
38.
Let's do this one at 30.
She's doing discounts, you guys. She's
Well,
doing her own
listen,
form of Black Friday
we're
sale.
doing our own. I didn't know I was going to do my own type of Black Friday, but here we are.
Oh, God.
This is nice. It's a good clasp. This is one Greg carved, and it sits like this so that the octopus is like this when it's clasped. I just finished a book called Remarkably Bright Creatures about an octopus named Marcellus, and I loved it. It was a really good book. If you see it, it's actually wonderful.
And there were 3 of those? Yeah.
Let me
And they are
see.
now gone. Thank
1,
you.
2, 3. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. All right. So this I already marked down. These I had these reserved. I was going to sell them. They were supposed to be 48. This is Sunstone. And I have it marked. I'm doing a bunch of these strands for $30. So if you want this one, I only have this strand. It's $7.45. These are beautifully cut, very rainbowy. They're like kind of a weird shape. Let's see if I can show that. It's like a cushion pyramid. You know, a cushion pyramid. Oh, Pat, did you read that? I love that book so much. It was so good. Oh, thank you, Marianne. Yeah, these were great. All right,
Sorry,
let's
y'all.
see.
I got it stuck. There you go.
All right, so I had these little brown opals. I got this from a guy in Tucson. Not this year. I think maybe 2020?
2021.
Oh, 2021.
Because there was nothing happening in 2020.
No, we were there 2020. We
We
talking
were
about?
there in 2021, I promise. April 20.
Yeah, we haven't missed any. We were there, except for no.
The year 2020. They were. No,
I was driving.
happening.
I
were
think
there,
we-
It was me and you in 21. I promise.
Okay, so this is 751. I was gonna say let's do these for like 18. Let's do that.
Brown opals, baby.
I call them butterscotch opals because they're
Yeah,
mostly
they are
butterscotch.
Like butterscotch.
But you know what? They have a lot of nice flash. Okay, I have 2 of them.
$18 for opals.
Yeah,
Okay.
$7.51. Now, if you do a thing where you know what? This would actually make good earrings, just like that. When I see it like
know,
that, I
those
kind of want them
two.
to be earrings.
Oh, and they're gone to Helen and Lorraine. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
There's these little remix.
So I
I
made
kinda
these
like it, though.
remix, and all right, I'm gonna do a remix on this. I bought all this amethyst. I went through an amethyst phase like 10 years ago, maybe, and I kind of went hog wild. I don't know if y'all are like this. I bought grape ones. They're like grape color. That's AAA grade on that, and that's a great big one. Beautiful. I had that at 92. Let's do it at 48.
Dang.
I know, that's like cost, but I've been sitting on it, so what the heck. What'd I say? Did I say 48?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's like a big one. That's one of our biggest things. It's almost a half strand.
Yeah, that's actually quite a few. And these
You
are
got all
not.
these that are slightly tinted yellow and purple. And
This
you
is
got a
not
big one in
dyed.
the middle.
Just so you know, that
Those
none
are
of those. This is
perfect for my
ametrine,
amethyst color.
ametrine,
And it's gone to June. Thank you, June.
Dusty.
What's Dusty? Drink some
My
tea.
throat.
I made it for you
Well,
specifically.
Thank you, daughter.
It's not like you're gonna like sip it and fall asleep.
No, I know.
I just
It
didn't
was
want to make
very
you anything.
hot.
I didn't want to make you anything with caffeine, and it was hard to find stuff in there that was not caffeinated.
So I already marked this one. This is $30, but I was going to sell these. This was out of a batch that was supposed to be full strand at 48. This is 30. These are A-grade labradorites. They're very, very pale. Now, I'm sure you've noticed that a lot of labradorite in the last 10, 15 years, the majority of it is looking like I had a ring out that I was looking at. And it's mostly dark gray. You'll notice a lot of it is dark gray and has like a nice flash, but you don't see this really pale excuse me. I tell ya, that leaf mold.
Leaf mold. Well, it's gone now to Pat. Thank you, Pat. She was going and gonna tell you all the deets about that. These are naked ones.
Okay, so these we'll do these for 20. That's an awesome price on that. Okay, 748. They don't have the stone, but they have a little eye that I carved. This is like this necklace.
But with no sapphire. Still very good, though.
Yeah, I hung on to those. I tend to hoard that for sure. It's a favorite. It's a favorite of mine. Labradorite is one of my all-time most favorite. Okay, so that is, what does that say? 748. And it looks like that's it.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you. This is our own form of black. It's not Friday, it's Sunday. I did get, you guys know I kind of love Barbies. And I repaint them. I'm not just sitting on them. I got so many Barbies. It was so awesome. And the boxes just keep arriving, and it's so embarrassing. I just, Is the sapphire one left? Helen, I might have another sapphire one in my private collection. I'll see if I have any. All right, so this is a heavy piece. This one is like, I don't know, if I weighed that, that's a lot of silver there. But it's 46. Let's see. Give me that pen. Let's do $40. Lot 278. This is a big, heavy, not super heavy, but it's very nicely, it's a good weight. Double-sided. Tina wants this one. Thank you, Tina. So remember, Azalea will send you an invoice tomorrow. I'm going to take another sip of tea. What's next?
The next one is another decadent silver sapphire moon clasp. I like this one a lot. I wanted to put this one in my pocket, but... Yeah, so you can see I put a hole in the back to keep it mounted in place. And you can see that it is, I think that's like a silver one, maybe gray. Kind of hard to tell. But let's see, what is it? 55. Let's do 50. They take me a while to make. That's the thing, is to set this, I have to go in. It's kind of labor intensive. That's why I don't make a ton of them. And sometimes the stones crack. And if the stones crack, I have to basically start over. And you don't get them every time. It's not a given. So
Thank you, Robin. I can't wait to see what you do with it. I love this. This is one of my favorite clasps. I sold 2 of the necklaces that I made with that at the Big Crafty, and they were kind of highfalutin necklaces. So it was really nice. I felt, pretty happy. Sometimes it's hard to ask for what you want on a piece because you're kind of pricing it the way that, you're like thinking of. I mean, I buy stones wholesale, in great big quantities. So when you're buying net jewelry, because I buy jewelry, you kind of want to spend what you would spend. And sometimes that doesn't factor in your own labor. And if you look around, I think, one gal was like, go look at Sundance. Go look at, some of these other brands. You'll see. This thing kind of got tangled up in there. So I have 2 strands of this. Usually these are the ones I was saving for myself. And you can see the ones I saved for myself have
Are
a
the big,
lot.
juicy, sparkly golden sunstone.
Yeah, especially. They're very rainbowy. I hand-picked these. I picked probably 15 strands of this. And these are the ones I pulled for myself. Well, I pulled all of them to be like that. I don't want the ones that are dead. No, that's not my flavor. So they're 30.
Lot 741.
And this was supposed to be at like 48, 52 price point that's the average on that. If you were to search that, I mean, I don't know if that many people because I bought a lot of it.
Put that tag back in your hand real quick.
Oh.
There's one gone. Thank you, Anne.
741. There's one left if there's any takers on that. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, and I gotta fix that number. Sometimes I'll show people, I'll show the screen with my notebook in it, and then people will, read the number, but then I wrote it, so my 4s sometimes look like 9s, and it's just...
I don't have any sterling ones but, this, yes. This is brown moonstone. This is a new shield shape. And I also marked these at $30, even though that's supposed to be more like 48 to 52 based on the weight. Sometimes they weigh them. Look at all the flash on that for brown moonstone. Sometimes they call it the actual name is Andaluria, but that's rainbow. I don't know if this would be considered of Andaluria. They might not be on the website, Kathy. Where's the tag? Here it is. 742, $30. Really pretty. I mean, look at that. That's almost like they call that striation not scintillation, schiller. It's kind of a funny word. Or chatoyance, that shine. It's a great. Yeah, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Get 5 pairs of earrings out of that.
It's gone now. Thank you, Pat. In unison, Pat. Here we go. Those are running low. That's from old stock.
This is from old times.
Or older-ish.
All right.
From 347. That's
340. That was early days. Okay,
ago.
I'm going to do a discount. Give me that pen. 30.
Dang.
Dang.
You took 22
so,
off that.
I know. These are rubies. They call that window cut. But what it is, it's fun because they take a ruby is the growing, you can see the matrix. So it grows in like a long column, like a crystal, right? And they cut them in slices, just like that. So that's what you're seeing. And they have a little bit of a star. I bought these for my crochet necklaces, and the only thing is it's more for the medium cord, micro cord. You can get that on. You're not getting that on the regular thick stuff, but easily through micro or fine gauge.
And it's gone.
Is that my
Sam
other son,
Edwards.
Sam? Hello, Sam. I miss you. We were just talking about you today. She said that you're driving more.
Hell yeah.
All right. This is, what is this? Serpentine? No, this is
pre-night.
This is pre-night.
I know pre-night.
You know, when I got it in the light, then I knew what it was. Okay, Azalea already
Greenite
marked
is
this
seafoam.
down. And I've got all the photos on my crochet tutorial. I just have to edit it and make a couple of videos. And then it'll be ready to roll. It was like, Mom, I can help you with that. And I was like, all right, you will have to help me.
He's been driving on the highway.
All right, so this would usually be probably 24 to 26. This is a good quality prehnite. It's almost like moonstone with all that, shine. And there's how many? There's 4 of it.
I feel like this would look good. This is the type of bead that would look good knotted because they're like thin little discs.
I do. My recommendation is to knot this. It has a nice
The
big hole.
personal recommendation.
So when I have these kind of rondelles, I'll put them in a sandwich formation like that. See the rondelle? Because sometimes a rondelle, you're like, what are you going to do with that? But I like to stack them. I'll stack 3 or 5 of them, kind of an odd number, or I'll have like one on either side, kind of like a bracket. But I think they look good stacked up like that. Okay, it looks
There's
like
one left.
there's one left of that. That's a pretty good amount. That's a really good price on that. Very good, not dyed. Very good, like shine. Yeah, look at that. It's kind of like, I don't know. It looks like moonstone to me.
The disc is satisfying. Oh, and they're gone. Thank you, Donna and Karen and Wendy and Bonnie. Thank you guys so much. All right, here's this.
Oh, thanks, Ann. I like that element too. I saw, you guys are going to love this. So this is, what is this? I think those are,
I put that down as having, I think I said 3 strands because one has been gotten into already.
Oh, where is it?
I think it's this one.
Okay, pull that one off.
I couldn't pull it off. That's why I put on the tag that there were 3.
Oh.
So just leave that one out.
Okay, so this, I think that looks like sapphire to me. That is sapphire. Now, sometimes when you're looking at a stone and you're like, I'm not sure, I have some things that I know are telltale signs of it. Now, this has a very shiny, aquamarine is more like this. I have a necklace with some aquamarine. Aquamarine doesn't have the hard sparkle. And what that means is, let me see. I have a strand of aquamarine over here. It's not as shiny because it's a softer metal or a softer stone. When you have like a hard stone, it can accept a polish, whereas other stones might crack from the heat. Sapphires are very, very hard stones. They're really hard to drill. And when you get that, these aren't coated to get that shine. Anyway, this is a very good price that I've put on this. $30. That's like, I was going to mark these at $62, but I've had these for probably 3 years now, and I've just sat on them. So that is pretty good, I think, for what this is. So you can tell, here's how you tell. Now, when you look at the holes, and you can look and you can feel them too. If there are kind of feeling a little bit, if you feel resistance, they do look like apatite, but they're not. The way you tell is by looking at the hole and to see what that looks like in there by the edge. And sometimes you'll see, because they won't polish the whole way. This, see, that's not super polished, so that's not a coated stone. There's little tidbits to tell you right away what they are. And also, aquamarine doesn't usually have a kind of a stacked texture. And so the stacked texture gives you what's called that schiller or chatoyance. And that'll let you know right away. If that were aquamarine, you'd be able to see through and you wouldn't get that kind of cat's eye thing, because sapphires do that because of the way it grows in the crystal formation. And the reason I know that is because I have a lap grinder, and when I've cut apatite. Apatite's very soft. It's probably a 6 on the hardness scale, and I cut a lot of the softer ones because my grinder does not enjoy cutting hard stones. I have cut rubies and sapphires, but it takes, I'm telling you, almost takes a completely new cutting wheel. So it's really hard. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so this is, look at this. We have these dark gray moonstone. There's like a lighter gray Herkimer diamond. This is actually from Herkimer, New York. And it looks like there's 2 big ones and 2 smaller ones. So let's see what this, I have this marked at. So I have that marked at 42. Let's call that 30. That's about, let's say that's $30.
That's lot 168. That was a while ago.
That was one of the early ones. But, you know, from this, and also, I would like to point out that when I picked out these Herkimers, they are drilled so good. I did not pick the kind that are not drilled well. These are drilled so well.
Thank you, Helen.
Helen, it was nice to see you on, what was that day? Sunday? I love it when I see my
Sunday.
friends and customers. Oh, so this is pink chalcedony. Is this what, how come this is, oh, there are like 2 drops. Let's just do these both for 10. What do you think? The whole
Both
thing.
Of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is really good. I've had these. These were in my collection for probably some of my earliest shows. I got these from a gal. Oh, what was her name? She was in Seattle and she passed away like 5 years ago. Anyway, any takers on, oh,
And thank you.
so that's the, make sure you put both of them in there.
I will tie them together.
That's going to bug me now. I'm going to have to call some people and remember her name.
All right. Next is show off those garnets real quick.
Oh, yes.
I love garnets. That's
These,
my weakness.
you know, I bought these a long time ago, but this is what, these are not cut. This is how they are grown. So what they do, and you can actually, if you're around Franklin and you go to one of those dig your own adventure stone places where you can mine and dig for stuff, these are actually, I don't think these are particularly local because I bought them in Franklin. I don't even know how long ago, long time ago. Let me see. I was looking for the part where they grow, but it doesn't show it. Anyway, let's see.
Perfect red though in the light.
30? Let's do 20 on that. So those are actual grown crystals. $20.
I love them.
$3.95. Azalea, if they don't, so I'll just take them.
I look at garnets
$3.95.
everywhere we go. Anytime we go out and see gemstones.
Robin, are you asking? This is, oh, it does look like a 45. That's $3.95.
She gets it. We know what she meant.
You know what? It is like a bead showing here. It's so bright.
We like light. We're always working on stuff. That's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
It looks like we're coming down to the end of it.
You can show those if you want. I just grabbed them, and then I grabbed these as some extra little bits. But we can probably, that's the end of the gemstones.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
last stone of the evening. The rest is this.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
This, and this. All right, sure. This is the last thing of the evening, I guess.
Let's do some of these, and then that's
All right.
it.
These will be the end.
So this is from my friend Kia. I don't know if you guys remember, she was out of Truth or Consequences. But these are rough rubies. They're just drilled. They're not, I don't even think they're shaped. But I'm going to do these for, let's see. I've had those for ages and ages and ages. Let's see. I'm going to drop those down. This is, I'll just say $20 if someone wants that.
Dang.
$3.84, $20. Rough rubies. They're not shiny. They're just neat. They're also kind of small, the drilling on that.
But they're rough and perfectly
like,
pink.
Yeah, they're really cute. They're really nice rubies. I mean, you
Oh,
know,
thank you,
I would
Donna.
not say. I know. I haven't seen Key in forever. We went to go visit her in Truth or
Alright, these are the last
Consequences to go to that
ones.
hot tub.
I love going to Truth or Consequences to see.
Okay, so the last thing tonight. Last thing. All right, I have two of these great big pendants. Aren't these pretty?
Pins.
I usually take these ones and I make necklaces. And I make the necklace like this. I put it offset. And that's how I would do that. And I would sell that. If this was a bronze clasp and this was there, I sell it for $140 is how much I usually charge for this particular piece. So today I will do, let's say, 32. I know, that's good. $10 off. $468.
Yeah, I love those. They're so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Love ravens. The face is so
$468.
cute. Oh, and they're both gone. Thank you, Pat and Wendy. All right.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much. Let's flip it up.
All right, let's do it.
What a nice evening that we've had.
Helen says, I love everything. I think I've only gotten one item. They are irresistible to everyone. Nice. Dang, says Ann. I know.
Dang.
All right, let me put this.
Dang is right.
Camera. I don't know why they put the camera. Now they have the new the settings are where it's at the very bottom. You got to go play seek and find.
Yeah, you do.
Out of the way. All right, friends. We are going to wrap it up. We have our big crafty show next weekend. If you're in the Asheville area, it is awesome. It goes Saturday and Sunday. And I can show you how to make simple molds. It'll be awesome. We'll do it. Oh, thank you, Kalite. You know, we were not planning on doing any kind of sale. I was looking at those trends. I said, let's just move some of this stuff. Let's move it. You know, we've been sitting on it for a while. Let's get a little bit, Azalea. Too much, like bead show.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
This is a bead show.
I need a fan getting warm. I will show y'all. I think that'll be a good one because resin is fun to play with. And I don't want to brag or anything, but I think I'm an expert at resin by now. I mean, I've only been doing it for,
We should show the page real quick. People like it when I do that.
Oh, okay. So Azalea's going to show you. Can y'all see it? You can screenshot it. Back up the truck a little bit.
I'm going to show it. I need to show it close so people can actually see the numbers. And then I'm going to come down. So you guys can all look for your name.
All right. I
know
can do
my
mold
handwriting
making.
is not great.
Mold
but I was
making
doing it
is
fast.
good and fun.
There
So
you go.
I have a kit we've been working on. It's very nice. It's Azalea designed it. It's a deep blue and brown kit. And I'm making, for this one, I'm only making 20 of them. And I'm going to make a little charm. We're thinking maybe a silver charm or something, a little bit fancier. Maybe a little bit fancier. Yes, so I'll make a note. The resin, the mold making for resin, I could show you the old school way if you don't have silicone. But nowadays they have so many nice silicones. You really don't need to have. You don't need to have too complex. Let's see the things are coming in. These comments. You're waiting on some opals. Bonnie, we'll have to get that all taken care of. If we're waiting on anything, we'll look at that and see what's happening. I feel like that one, Azalea was packaging it up. Thanks, Karen. We're planning our trip to Tucson, and we wanted to mention if people are interested. I know a few of my friends that shop in Tucson were doing this thing. I think it's kind of like I don't know if they would call it. So, like our friend Ava, she had a thing, she sent an email, like if you wanted to buy on her, like the things that she's picking, you would spend, if you spent $200, you got, $200 or whatever she was buying, or $400, and she's giving them to you at pretty good prices.
check your email because I packaged a big old thing up for you the other day, and it should have shipped. It should be out of the post office by now, like a big package. So, check your email, my friends, because you will get a notification from Greengirlstudios
And it
website,
should have, listen,
and
it
it
should
could
have,
go to your junk sometimes since it's not an email directly from me. It's an email from the platform.
Shopify.
So. Check your spam, check your email because you'll get a notification when your stuff ships. And you'll get probably a bunch of emails because it'll say like, "Oh, I've marked this fulfilled, I've refunded this, I've marked this fulfilled and refunded that." When you see that, that means that means I'm combining all your packages. The refunds you'll get will be on the shipping, so you'll only have to pay the shipping for one package and it'll be in one big.
Nice, it'll be nice.
Not a lot of, I can't say that I have a lot of I can't think of any business I've ever shopped at that I went and bought a bunch of stuff, like separate orders, and they like combined the whole thing. The only business I can think of is Wallwhack, which is another small business.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
People
is you
will
can
do
get,
you a solid.
A small business can do that. I mean, if you're like buying it from a bigger, the people don't know, so they're, that's not going to be easy. They're not, probably, I don't know. But anyway, we're talking about our Tucson adventures. And we were thinking about doing a similar thing. I don't know. It's all we've never done this before, where we're going to Tucson without a show. I know.
We'll be free.
It'll be freeing, but it'll also be scary because, we're used to be.
It will not be scary. The scarier thing is to be at a show and be afraid that you're not going to be able to make your booth fee. When you're out there without a show, the only money you need to make back is the money that just costs for travel and lodging. But if we can find somebody to stay with, then it'll just be for travel and food. We won't have an $8,000 booth fee to cover or whatever it was.
And it's very.
We will just we will buy
high.
and sell, and we'll do our live sales, and we'll go on our adventures, and we won't have to worry about getting up at 6:30 in the morning for a show. And I'm excited for that. I'm not scared. I'm excited.
So what we're hoping to do is, if there are like some of you that are interested in buying bulk items, or if you're looking for something that's more that's like kind of rare, we'll look and we'll shop for you. And we're hoping to do a similar thing, but my friend Ava, she is specific in her purchases. She likes vintage glass. She's looking for vintage. And if you like vintage glass, that's, you want to get in on that when she sends that email from Whole Bead Show. And that's a good one. I think also there might be a couple other people doing that for Tucson, but we're definitely going to put in a few slots. And what that'll be is like if you want to spend between $200 and $600, or however we'll break it down so that you'll know exactly. Everything will be itemized, and you can see, and you can make a list. And what that'll be. Yeah, we're going to try that, Anthea. I think that'll be something we'll do. Maybe for I'm not sure how many slots will be open for that, because you kind of have to shop with an eye for who you're shopping for and what colors they want, what stones. And I think, like pearl dealers, I've been shopping for so long, I know exactly where my favorite people are. So that it should be. And I'll be able to get some really incredible deals, some really good ones. But depends, obviously, like when we went for, right after the pandemic, if we'd done that then, it would have been insane because the deals were... nobody was there, so people were trying to offload everything, and it was awesome. The next time we went back, the deals weren't as good, and so it's kind of sad. And, it's just, you never know what you're going to find. Robin, we were at the Whole Beach show, at Ava Motherwell's show, and we were in kind of a weird location. It was a dance studio. And, it was good. We had a good time, and we met a lot of people. But boy, spending 2 weeks out there was rough, because in between the shows, you just kind of, we hung out and we shopped, but you're still there for 2 weeks, and it is not cheap to stay in Tucson during the gem show. You're talking like the most run down, crappy hotel is like, what was it when we went to that? We looked at the prices. I mean, just go look now. You can look now and see. It's like $150 a night for like garbagey Motel 6. One year, Sheila and I did stay at a Motel 6, and you know what? It was weird because it was damp in Tucson. The room was damp. Can you believe that?
That's how it was when we went the first time I went with you. We went and stopped on one of our nights, our travel nights, and we stopped in that motel right off the highway.
Ugh, so
And
horrible.
the room was moist. I was like,
Like you're in the desert house.
I was like,
it's
I
moist.
go outside and all I can taste is dust, and then I go inside and it's like
Weirdly moist.
I'm like I feel like a mushroom. It's like wet in here. The
Well,
floor
that's
is
because
sticky.
because there's no airflow, and that's why. But that is one of the main reasons people. That's why, Robin, correct. It's expensive to go. So Azalea and I were like, so a lot of the shows, kind of, we know, like, I know anyway, the shows I would want to go to. And what's fun is that there are other shows kind of outside of town. They're not in Tucson. They're in, like, suburb of Tucson. And we found
That's where we
some
were.
killer stones. And we were so happy because, you know, sometimes you'll get that eyeball fatigue where everything you're looking at kind of starts to look the same, because basically it kind of is the same. You're looking at mountains and mountains of the same, 12 types of stones. Oh, and some of the grossest hotels you've ever seen in your life. And you know what? They don't have to update them because people will stay in them. They make all their money during, January and February, and the rest of the time, that hotel is probably like $40 a night. They're like, there's no way people would spend that kind of money. But anyway, we'll send out more information on that when it comes closer to the time. If you were interested in, maybe getting one of those packs, we're going to work it out so that it's fair and that everybody's happy. And maybe it's a thing where you buy a certain type of gemstone. Really what it'll probably come down to is looking at what is available, and that'll dictate, because sometimes it's like fashion. Gemstone or beads are kind of like, things go in and out of style. So I don't want to say, oh, we're going to find a ton of pearls or kyanite this year, when maybe that's not going to be there. Maybe this year it's going to be this new stone, that andesine. Remember that we were looking at it, and it kind of looked like pink shampoo. I never seen it before, and it was all the rage. You just don't know what is going to be happening. So I think what we'll do is kind of scope it out first.
Lot number for Marty. It's my son.
Yeah, I know. He is not unhappy. I mean, someone sent me an email and said, listen, you guys are holding that cat too tight. Said,
no.
He is not crying right now. He just sometimes cries for no good reason.
He's just sitting here.
He's just chilling.
He's fine.
He's fine. I mean,
he might look chafed because you can see his like cheek meat, but that's because he's kind of a fat ass. It's not because I'm squeezing him.
Fat. He's just pleasantly, and he has large bones. That's the other thing. He's a big cat, He
just cries for no reason sometimes, but he's okay.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. We have Big Crafty next week, a week off. And then we have what's called the Lil Crafty. That's going to be at Citizen Vinyl in Asheville. We've never done that before. It's us and 15 other vendors. We're going to be at this record pressing place. It's going to be new. We've never done it before. We're going to give it a try. And after that, we are going to be in full production mode, getting ready for Tucson. So what we're going to do is make more of our specialty things. And of course, we'll have new pewter, and we'll be looking to make new kits. And also, we'll be trying to get more of we're going to try and get our freaking workshops done. It's just all this stuff at the same time, and all that tedious, like, editing can be very difficult. It's not, when I say difficult, what I should say is it just takes forever, at least for me. It's not my favorite thing, so I tend to put it off.
Because it's 2 hours.
Oh, whoa. All right. 2 hours. All right, friends.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank
makes
you.
us very happy. Thank you so much. If you guys need me to show it again, I can show it again. But I showed it for kind of a long time before.
Yeah, I think that should be good.
So it should be good.
All right. So also right after the big crafty, I think on December 6th, I believe, at 5. It's usually on a Friday. I'm like, listen, Rachel, you're cutting into my game time because I usually have game night then. And how am I supposed to play with Liam? Played a good roll of Farkle. I don't want to tell you, but I rolled one roll, like 3,000 points. One roll. It was epic.
That last night?
Yeah, and I won the game. I was in last place. Guess who rolled last roll? 3,000 points. I know. That was my face, too. I'll be talking around about that 20 years from now. All right, friends.
All right, good night, everybody.
You guys have a good week. We will see you next Sunday. Even though I'm wiped out, I'm still going to go live. All right, we'll see you.